Hi everyone, I am RexRed and this is Ez3DTv. We need to select stream. Let's see, we're coming here. Have we started? Yes, we have. Let's see, we have a top chat. Do we have live chat? Welcome people. Nobody's here yet. But tonight we are going to be showcasing. The last video I made was about a product that I have been working on. It is called Ez3DTv. No, that's this channel actually. It's called EZHDRI. And this EZHDRI is a program that helps you find your HDRIs, okay? Now the last video that I made about this product, it was about, and it detailed 3 different programs that you would open. You'd open one and you'd scan, you'd open another and you'd create thumbnails, and you'd open another and you would create DUF files. Well, what happened was, I was kind of happy with that one the way it was, but what kept happening is the program just kept dissolving, like right before my eyes. It just kept falling apart. Like I would find something that wasn't working and then I'd try to fix it and it would just completely dissolve and crumble and fall apart. And so I had that happen at least 15 times because it really took a lot of research into Daz Studio, to figure out how to do this the right way, okay? And to do it a way so it would work on everybody's computer. That's the thing, is you want it to be able to work on everybody's computer, even slow computers. And you want it to be able to be robust and not be crashing and not be like running so slow that it just it's not feasible to use it. And so this tool, it's not just for people with like 5,000 HDRIs. It's people with 500 and you can't find them. You don't know where they are. And when you go to put HDRIs in your scene, you bought 500 of them in maybe 20 or 30 HDRI kits, but they're not there in Daz, okay? And so this is making the most. So if you spend, this is what I've been thinking, $35. I don't know, when I talk to Daz and see if they're interested in this product, the price might go up. They may just say, no, we think this product's worth more or whatever. I'm thinking $35, and they take whatever they take out. I take whatever I take out, and people buy it, and they're very happy with it, okay? Today, this product got finished. And it's now the product is at a place where, you see, every time that I've worked on this product, I'd finish it and say, but there was that part and we couldn't get that done and we couldn't figure out how to do this and we couldn't figure out how to do. I wanted to implement so many things into this product, and every time I would do it, it would just, the complexity would get so enormous that the whole project would just crumble under so much complexity. And I found a way to, and these are kind of some of my, I would say, trade secrets or whatever, but I found ways to handle that complexity and still keep it kind of under wraps and simple and all of that. And so And that is what happened. And so finally, once I was able to handle that complexity in a very workable way, suddenly the project started, all of the things I wanted to add into it started to pull together. And it may seem like it's a simple product, but just to give you an idea, we'll go here to this page. This is the product now as it stands. It's one window, okay? So it's one exe. You open it up and you get this. This window's usually like small and you have to resize it if you want to. This window usually comes about like this size. And it goes like this. It's usually about like this. And this little bar here is usually about here. Okay? And this is how this opens up, like about this, okay? So you have this window and you have this window. This window you don't need to resize, okay? This window stays just the way it is. And before you had to put, like My Daz3D Library, you had to put where you wanted it to scan and all of these things. All of a sudden, this became just very simple. It took so much like whiteboarding and so much planning and so much thought into what was going to make this product work and what was going to be the easiest way to do it for consumers, okay? And for Daz users, so that it would just be easy. And at first it was like, well, type this in and push this button, then open the other next program, type this in and push that button, then, because every time I try to combine them all together, the whole thing would crumble as well. It would just, it was so complicated. And so then the other thing was, then you had to open another program and you had to put in paths, and then you had to push a button and wait for that process to happen. Well, because I just really tried to get in control of every single detail of this product, I was able to combine it all together into one thing. And this is what it is. So you open this up, okay? This is the folder you would get. And you come in here and you find this icon here. Let's create a shortcut. And this is your exe, okay? And you double click on it and this opens. And you type in your Daz library and you click scan, okay? And you wait, and you wait. And you wait, and you wait, and you wait, and you wait until the scan is done. And you'll know it'll say completed, and it won't be making any more thumbnails, okay? And so what will happen is you take this and you can make it larger, all right? This is doing a pretty intense, heavy-duty thing, okay? So it's making thousands of thumbnails in this app here, okay? And it's doing it quite, what would you call it? You know, it's not, you know, crashing on us, okay? And it's never really had that crash. It's never been crashy, okay? It's just been a matter of hooking everything up and relaying everything. There's just a lot of complexity all going on here. A lot, okay? And so if you look at the folder here, okay? Do you see this exe? Look at how many files are in that have to be in this folder for this to work, okay? All of these files have to be here. It's an ecosystem for this exe so that you can just put it on your desktop. You don't have to install anything. You just run this and then you just put in your My Daz3D library and you click scan. And that's it. And you wait until it's done. And it can take even the fastest computers. If you have 5,000, like I do, I have about 4,000, I don't know, 700. I say 5,000, but it's close enough to 5, all right, to round it up. So if you have 5,000 HDRIs on your computer, it'll take an hour, 2 hours to make thumbnails of them all, okay? And to find them, to scan them, make thumbnails, and make duffs of each one, okay? And what it does is it puts those thumbnails in a folder in your Daz library, in your environments My Daz3D Library, environments, EZHDRI, okay? It puts them in there, in that folder. It doesn't change anything in your library at all. That was one of the stipulations of this process, was to not change anything in any of the PA's folders, not to add anything, not to alter anything. It's just finding the HDRIs and using that information, okay? So this is how this all ends up. So it creates this folder here, and all of the duffs have like this. The JSON files had to be. I heard a noise. I hope that's not. Okay, we're at 23% here. My Samsung tablet. Okay, so we you know, it's just, I heard that noise and I think I hope it didn't crash. It's like, all right, this has never crashed while using it, okay? So that's one thing that I can say is it doesn't crash. It's because everything has been written tightly and perfectly and with precision, okay? And so this is now how this works, okay? So now, and so it couldn't be any more simple to use. When will this be available? I don't know. I don't know when, if what's going on, if Daz will be even interested in this. So it'll either be available through Daz Studio or through the store, or it will be available through Microsoft Store. So I'd prefer selling it through the Daz store. And so this is, it all just works. As you can see now, this is like a lot of, and just even how this works here. And if you go to your, okay, I'm on that computer. Okay, we didn't want to do that. We go here, cancel, cancel that. Bring my, this here. All right, and we go to the task manager. This is how much, so no matter what your CPU and your memory are doing, see, it's using a good amount of your memory, okay? So there are system requirements, okay? And now it's saying it's cache 67 gigs, okay? I don't believe that that's all, like it has to cache that, okay? That has to do with your running trail of all of the things that you do with your computer, whether if it's working with the, you know, certain opening programs and closing. I had Photoshop open. I have currently, I have my, okay, we're going to close this. Can we close that? Yeah. That kind of takes a little bit down. And so and it's accessing the hard drive and scanning the drives. So it's using your CPU. And right now, no matter how you do this, it always uses this at 100%. But I believe it's only using like one core at this time. It says, so, I'm not sure, but I believe it's only using one core. So it does not, so it doesn't, so as you can see, I can still do things with my computer while this is running because it's only using really, it's maxing out one of your cores, okay? And so this has been tested on another computer, so that had that didn't have the environment, that didn't have the scripts, that didn't have the project files, so that I could find out for sure if it wasn't referencing project files instead of running on its own code and all, so compiled code. So, and that has been tested, and so now that was the part that, you know, it's like you get it all ready and then you move it over to the other computer and you test it and it won't scan. It doesn't show the thumbnails right. It can't even find the thumbnail converter. It's like, and it's working fine on my computer, but it won't work over there. And so you go back to the drawing board and you fix this and fix that, and all of a sudden the whole thing crumbles and falls apart, and you end up with having to start all over again. And then you have to bring it back over to the other computer and test it again and see if everything, that's all been done now, okay? This is done, okay? This awesome program here. The only thing I didn't put into this is a, there's no, it won't tell you when it's going to be done, okay? You just have to wait. And if it takes an hour, it takes an hour. If it takes 3 hours, it takes 3 hours, okay? But once it's done, okay, then you have skies, okay? Then you have all the skies in the world, all right at your fingertips, and they inject beautifully into the scene, okay? And so, and there's no redundancy, that's all been built into it, so there is no, there's no redundancy there, and it doesn't have to scan for every HDRI before it makes one, okay? It finds one and it starts making them immediately. So it does all of this concurrently while it's, so like thumbnail generated, found clear skies. It found this, it generated the thumbnail, it's generating the the duff. I don't mention the duffs in this, okay? So only the thumbnail. It does, when it creates the thumbnail, it creates the duff as well. So if you see thumbnail created, the duff was created. So it's all done together in a synchronous harmony, okay, of an orchestrated harmony, okay? And so these are all awesome. This is how it works, okay? This is our EZHDRI. This has been 3 months. It is taking me over 3 months of working on this every day and late into the night. You know, a part of it's been kind of just learning how to program, learning how to set this up, learning what I was going to use to actually write it. It took me a month to figure out what language I was going to write it in, okay? And I was going to write it in Qt. I was going to write it in the Daz script, the Daz's Qt, own version of Qt. And so I had the program almost made, but there were too many limitations. I kept running up against walls with the program. And so it was just that crumbled. another version of it, several of them that were all in like that were all involved with Qt and Visual Studio 2010. Oh, you got to have Visual Studio 20. It took me days to set up the Qt, to get the right version of Qt and have it, make with a Qt make or quick make or something. Oh gosh, what a mess that was. And also I could try to get the Qt and the Daz software developer kit, try to get them all together, and that just completely crumbled right through my hands. It just broke into sand and fell to the ground because none of it was exposed. Daz has done a good job to not expose that code, and so it was impossible to write it with the software developer kit. There were things that the project had to have, and it wasn't available. And so it took me over a month to figure that out. And so, but during that time, the whiteboard and laying out the outline of and what it had to do, what was just, gosh, there were so many extravagant, grandiose things that there could definitely be an EZHDRI thumb maker 2, okay? And that could, and so there are things that I haven't built into this. Will I build them into it before the product is released? There is a possibility of that. I have things I need to do. Right now I have to switch gears and I can't program anymore for a while. I have to go and I have to release 10 music albums. So I'm switching gears back to music for a while. But before I do, I might just spend a day or so trying to add all kinds of metadata into these thumbnails. Metadata like resolution, like what is the resolution of it, and what is the things like what color is it? Is it kind of on the bluish side or is it on the warm reddish side? Looking at analyzing, possibly even adding AI to analyze these images, which would require, I think, Azure and all kinds of crazy stuff. So I'm not sure how this would all work, okay? And then, so there's just a whole bunch of issues that I would like to, the things that could be added in so that you could know more about the HDRI. But you know what? All you have to do is click on it and put it in the scene, and you can see what color it is. You can see, and usually the name tells you whether if it's, what K it is, whether if it's 4K, 8K, 16K, 24K, whatever K it is. It usually is part of the name, and so you can figure that out. And sometimes you can just look at it and say, oh, this is kind of blurry. This is obviously 1024. This is 1K. So, so this is how it works. So what we're looking at, how much longer this has got. This has probably got another hour. I don't know, because I used to have a progress bar that told me when it was going to be done, but we started scanning it a different way. We started scanning it with, it finds a thumbnail, it finds the HDRI, it makes a thumbnail, it makes a duff, finds the HDRI, so it scans, finds it, and the reason why is because it was taking a long time before anything in the program happened. It would have to scan your entire Daz3D library, And I didn't really like that, where the user would just sit there saying, "What's happening? You know, why isn't anything happening?" And it could take up to, 20 minutes to scan your entire DAZ library. And so so now once it finds that first HDRI, it starts converting right then and there. So so that it's doing something, and that's very, very, it didn't take that long to scan. It was taking up to 20 minutes, but then I had to modify the scan so it was not scanning everything, okay? So it was just scanning for HDRIs and EXRs, and that was another massive trial and error mess, okay? So, but we got a scan that was like just perfect for this. So now it's almost, even on my slow computer, as soon as I open it and click scan, within seconds, it's making the first HDRI. So that is a big, 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 big thing. So this is how it works. So, and the thing is that you can take, if you have HDRIs that you got from, like, was it Content Parrot, from HDRI Paradise or something like that, HDRI Haven, I'm not this, I think it's, you can just put them in a folder and put them in your DAZ library, and it will add them as well. Okay, any HDRI you can put in your folder, and it should be able to read that file, any kind of file. That's why there are so many files inside here, is so that it can read every kind of file in the world. That's what this is. So now this looks kind of scary, like, oh, it's using up all my CPU, but as you can see, I can still open other programs and work in, oh, I didn't want to do that. Okay. I can still open other programs here, like my Photoshop. You see, it opens right up. I can actually open DAZ. In fact, I have DAZ open right now while it's doing this. So with all of my library, 13,000 items all loaded up in DAZ, and it's still, and I'm opening Photoshop. See, so this was another issue that had to be solved, that you're taking and opening massive PNG files, massive ones, not PNG, massive HDR and EXR files. Okay, see how that opened right up, and I can create a new file here like this and work in Photoshop. No problem, okay? See, and close it. It's so the first iteration, the first time we tried to do this was with DAZ Studio and through DAZ Studio, and there was no way, DAZ didn't give us a way to tell the thumbnail maker to tell the thumbnail maker to make thumbnails like serially, one after another. And so what would happen is the thumbnail maker would open an HDRI, another thumbnail maker would open another, and another, and another, and another, and another, and in the background, we had like 500 thumbnail makers all trying to make thumbnails, and there was no way to like tame that process in DAZ because there was so much cut out of the software developer kit. So there was just, we looked for hours and hours trying to find a way to tame that process, and it was just, there was nothing was exposed to do that. So, and you can see there's even a little bit of it takes little breaths every once in a while. And these must be like long scans where it's looking for another group of HDRIs and all, another scan in here. See, this is wonderfully how it breaks up the thumbnail process, the thumbnail creation, and gives the computer a moment to breathe. And so this is all being done with, so if you have a dual core, which is pretty old school, I don't even know if you, because, you know, dual core was, some of them were not even 64-bit. You have to have a 64-bit computer to run Daz Studio. Well, I think there are actually 32-bit versions now that I noticed them today in the install manager. So you can still install 32-bit versions, I guess, I'm not sure. So I believe that that Daz Studio 2025 is only 64-bit, but I'm not sure about that either. So, but the thing is that the this program was written in 64-bit, okay? So it does make use of all of Windows 11's, and it's done with .NET 9, okay? So it makes use of the very latest software developer tools and kits, and it's yeah, and C#. So this is how this works. So let's open Daz and let's see what the heck is here. Okay, Daz, come back. All right, here we go. I know you were sleeping. I thought I'd wake you up. Now this is smart content, and these are our HDRIs in smart content. It's going to be a little slower because it is running this massive task in the background. But as you can see, we can still scroll through our HDRIs like this just so nicely. Look at them all, and they are here. And this is Daz Studio 4.24. They also will display because they're not made inside of Daz. They're made outside, and so it's not using Daz's script to do this process. It's all done externally so that it could be made freely without the limitations of, so this can run in the background and while you're still working in Daz, and as you can see, you have all of these different, they just inject in. It is amazing what you can do here. See, so yeah, and it just loads the HDRIs in. They are all connected to the DUF file, the JSON files in the DUF. They had to be written for each HDRI has its own DUF. And the names are not, so yes, it has the file name in it, okay? The DUF, it has the HDRI file name. See, this is DD Dramatic Skies HDRI 19, but every one of them has this underscore EZHDRI, so they will not conflict with the original HDRIs that are in your library. So there will be no conflict at all. And the DUF follows the same naming scheme so that there are no conflicts. So this is it. Look at that. That is amazing. We could lower go to the parameters a little bit here and just bring this one down to 1.5. Look at that. That is so pretty. So let's do something fun here. While that's running in the background, see, you can work in Daz while this is running in the background. You see that? And that was the thing, is when I tried to make these HDRIs and convert them in the background by using Daz scripts, it not only crashed Daz, Windows went immediately into the blue screen of death. And it just, boom, it just like within probably about 3 or 4 minutes of it just trying to create so many instances where it was, and there was no way to harness that. So I couldn't use scripts to do this. And I tried it. I tried for a month to use scripts to do this, and it just over a month. Took over a month of testing to try to use scripts, and that was not possible. And so I all of a sudden I had to change gears and say, okay, we're going to do this project externally. And it was like, why not? Why can't we? It's like, what do we, as long, and you see, the original idea was to make our own panel, okay, to make a panel. Well, panels aren't exposed either. You just have to use, so I had to use like smart content and embed it into existing panels, which actually turned out to be a very good thing, because it doesn't alter Daz in any really kind of heavy way. It just uses Daz, its own panels, and look, there they are. You know, they're just all right there in your. Now I'm not sure why these don't have. They may not be done yet. What's going on here? Cancel. Okay, something's wrong here. But I don't think that they're done yet. So light probe. Okay, these may not be actual. They somehow we might be searching for things other than EXRs. So we'll see, because those aren't supposed to be in there. We'll find it. We'll get to. Let's see what they are. Okay, we go to browse to file location. Whatever they are, they're not something that file can read. Let's try this again. Now we're going to have 10 of them open. So it's not a big deal. These are things you can just delete out of your, you can just select them and delete them out of your smart content. Not smart content, the content library. You can go down into here. And if they're here, which they will be. Okay, this is one. When you see these, like you'll see one, that's just because they haven't, we have this thing using our, our graphics card. It's not using the graphics card to convert, it's using your CPU to convert these HDRIs to, okay, what's up here? Okay, we only have 360 so far. That doesn't sound right. Oh, we could, yeah, okay, now we have 4,000, okay. Okay, and I think that just may have come out of here. Default, yeah, you have to go out and come back in. And then it refreshes, because it's putting new things in as we're working through here. Look how many there are in here. There's 4,007. So this is almost done, if it's not already done. Successfully displayed. So this is done now. We can close this, and the close button works. So we can close that. All right, now let's see if we ended up with those odd files. Okay, see, I'm not seeing them yet. See, I'm seeing little kind of, looks like there's ones, but they're just painting slowly. So, come on, tell me that we didn't mess up and end up with some weird, odd files. What can happen is it can make the duff and not make the JPEG, and so you end up with just the duff showing, and the JPEG hasn't been associated with it yet. Okay, I'm not seeing those files anymore. So it would appear that they have all, yeah, these all came in right. I'm not seeing a list of really bad files. So, and they all inject. See, they all, now that it's not using the hard drive, they inject really quickly. Look at these. These are some of my favorite HDRIs. Look at this. So yeah, now there are 4,700, and yeah, that's right, 4,779. That's how many I have. That found every EXR and every HDR. Look at that. That is so cool. See, and these are things I don't see in, and see, this is in products. It's also in files. Now, under files in Smart Content, it's just there, okay? It's just there, and it says 12,000 plus, but there's, you know, they're just there. But under products, you have to go into this, you have to go into your local user, and they're still there. You know, it's just one more step. Under files, they're just here, which is kind of cool. And this is, and so that took about an hour, now a little over an hour, to convert 4,779 HDRIs into these little images and create the duffs so that you can view them like this. So look at that. These are cool. Some of these, I see them, and they're just so beautiful. And see, this looks like it was made for 3 Delight. I see them, and they're just so beautiful. It makes me want to cry. That's like 1.7, let's say. Let's go 1.5. Yeah, see, now this looks kind of less contrasty. It's supposed to be contrasty, but it's probably not one of the best examples of, some of them reach way back in time. So look at this. See, this one is the same thing again. Now you sort, and you want to go sort by like the highest product. None of that's in here. And this would be like for EZHDRI 2, we could add all this metadata into it, inject it into the JSON files. So, but all I really wanted to do was get you your HDRIs, and you can click on them, you can find them, you can put them into your scene, and they're all in one place, and it doesn't disrupt your current library. Okay, it doesn't disrupt anything in your library. Look at that. Let's put some ground in here. Let's go to our go here. So there's no way this is all using your DAZ. Okay, I don't have any scripts. Okay, we go to Window, Panes, Ultra Scenery 2. Let's put this here. Pull that up a little bit. Add. Yes, put that in the scene. All right, so we go here, and then we go to here to our save location. Browse. We go up one. Ultra Scenery 2. Add a file. We're going to call this Starry Field. Starry Field. Select that right there. And then we go down here to this, and our maximum altitude will go 3. And minimum altitude will go minus 2. And look what we have here. Then let's put some kind of terrain on this thing. Ecology. Oh, that's the terrain. Okay, we'll go with this terrain. Okay, I guess that works. Water. We'll put some water here. Add some water. Look at that. Biome. And we're going to add some bracken. And the bracken is, we have to tell it where we want the bracken and all these things, because our water level is at 0. So the bracken has got to be like at 3 or something. I mean, it's got to be above 0. Okay, so where's our water level? The water would be at 0 or 1, something in there, in that area. So we select the bracken, the biome layer, bracken. See where it says here, maximum altitude. Maximum will go 10,000. Minimum altitude, we're going to go to 1 centimeter. No, we'll go to 50. So it's just above the water. Some, let's see if that works. Okay, now let's render this. We got to save file, save as, scene. We're going to call this Starry Field. I-E-L-D. Starry Field. Okay, and then we can go to our render settings, which is where? Down here. Render settings, we'll bring them up here. Simulation settings can go down here. Okay, render settings is where? Right here, content library parameters, that's all right, okay. Okay, so we go to render settings here, that's all good. Progressive render will go maximum samples, maximum time, and that's off. What's nice is our HDRIs are not messing with our render settings, corrupting them, coming in. All that's being loaded is the image and dome on, okay? That is why we didn't add all that metadata, was so that we could keep your environment pristine, okay? I have had HDRIs corrupt my environment so that my DAZ library kept crashing, okay? Because the JSON file is trying to actually rewrite the DAZ render settings, rewrite these elements in here, okay? So this is good that we don't have that. Let's see what this looks like. All right. Well, we got some bracken there. It looks like it's a little bit higher than I wanted it to be. The centimeters, it was 100 centimeters, I think, was what we did it. I'm not sure. Let's go look. Okay. Back to our Daz library. Ultra scenery. Bracken. What was it? 50. Let's go to maximum centimeters. Distribution. We'll go with 10 above. All right. Now we can turn these on in the render if there's not too many of them. No, we have to go here to iRay preview, I think. There we go, and then we have to turn them all on, which would have to be in, see, I'm not sure I want to do that, turn them all on. We'll just look at them in the render. Okay, we're going to turn them off in the viewport. Okay, now let's add some rushes. And the rushes need to be the same at around 10. Minimum altitude is -9. We're going to go to 4 centimeters. Let's add some pebbles. We go here, we'll add some rocks around the edges. Where are the pebbles? Okay, I need some pebbles. I don't see any. This is forest litter. Okay, this is waterway. Look at this. River pebbles. We'll go with those. River pebbles. Let's see, that only put like 118,118 river pebbles. That's a few. But you see the minimum altitude, they're all way under the water. We don't want that. So we'll just go to like 0. Minimum altitude at 0 centimeters. So they'll go, maybe, let's go down to -4, -3. See, this is how your project balloons out. Maximum centimeters. We'll go, yeah, we'll go 15, and we'll see how that works. Let's go 10. So maybe they'll be up to about here. See, this is why, and now you see we've got 4,000 rather than, you see, that's a little more manageable. Let's see what we got. Angus, welcome, friend. I hope I didn't just scream in y'all's ear. Okay, look at this. We got a little bit of grass around the edge here. Let's put some grass in here. See, our pebbles come up just high enough, but they go down into the water just enough. See, that's pretty realistic. Yeah. So let's now go here. Look at our sky, our HDRI sky. Save this, and let's find some some grass to throw in here. Some like field grass, tussock grass. Let's use this kind of grass here. I bet there are people, grass cover. This is it. We'll add that in. And that's going to put probably 124,487 pieces of grass. So what we're going to do is, see, minimum altitude is 10. See, that's not bad, but let's go down to like 4. So it's just coming up above our pebbles, okay? Kind of mixing in with our pebbles a little bit. Maximum altitude doesn't matter if it goes to 10,000 because there's no land going up that high, so it's not going to put them in the air. And the grass cover, okay, we could lower the density a little bit, but so we're going to end up with 12,000 pieces of grass. Let's see. And okay, we have our, let's see what it looks like. All right. Welcome, people. Angus, I hope you are having a look at that now. Isn't that pretty? See, this is kind of cool. Now we could put, you know, we could use ultra scenery trees. Why do that? Why not just put, we only need a few trees. Why not put our own in here? Okay. Yes, cancel the render, please. I would like to cancel my render, please. Let's see now. So we go to our smart content and Willow. Let's try Willow default. Willow. Oh, what's this? Chestnut tree. No, that's not what we're looking for. Willow. Where did you go, Willow? All right, we're going to create a camera. Copy active perspective. Go to create, to edit, object, lock, camera. Okay, camera's locked. So now we can move our perspective around and find our willow tree. And there it is. Okay, we move this tree over this way. There's our tree. Parameters. This goes here. And I just had to reinstall my entire Daz library. Extra. Yeah, it's one of the things of the parameters went and put DUF files in next to every HDRI file. That turned into a disaster. It wasn't supposed to do that. Okay, camera. Okay, we go back here, Z. We go here. And then we can go like this, Z. Okay, that's that way. This is that way. Y translate. Okay, take me to the tree. See, that didn't work here. Okie dokie, what's going on here? Oh, that's the edge of our land. It just drops right off there. Okay, well that still works. It's an illusion. Welcome to the grand illusion. All right, that works. Perspective view, back to our camera. And let's put a bush here. You know, you don't need, if you don't need parameters, we're going to go Z. Okay. Save this. Okay. Boat. Boat. Save this, and let's render this. Okay. Well, that's kind of nice. Let's put a Viking in here. Okay, see these little, see how that's kind of like got little square, it's not round. It's the first thing my eyes see, is that this is in steps. Okay, so we got to add sub D to our boat. Or we could turn it up, but it probably doesn't have it. So we'll go to Object, Geometry, Convert to sub D. And since it didn't complain about it, it didn't have it. So we save this. Didn't look like it distorted our boat in any way. So now when we render this, my eye doesn't get offended. See how round that is now? See, you got to have that fixed. You can't have that. We're going to have a Viking sitting right here. Kind of bowing, sleeping, sitting right here with his head kind of bowed like that, with horns. Would you like to cancel this render? Yes, he's watching the boat. We could have him back here. Okay, we'll see. So we need a figure. And we're going to put our Genesis 8 figure. Genesis 9, We only work with Genesis 9. Okay, and that would be in Essentials. Oh, I've got one up here. Oh, I reset my scripts in Essentials. Okay, figures. You know, we are one step away from, really being able to do some fun stuff with our, the 2025 version, the Daz Studio Beta, because eventually, they're going to port over this whole, our ultra scenery. That's, they're doing the kind of built-in stuff now, but eventually they're going to be porting over our ultra scenery stuff. So we need our Genesis 9 figure. And we will use Dane's. We'll use Dane's skin. Come on. Where is he? everything got moved. Oh no, that's perfect. There's our center of our scene right there. It's that the trees came in the wrong place. Okay, so let's, we're not in iRay, so that's good. Let's find some Viking. Clothes. Wardrobe. Let's see if we can find one with a hat. All right, let's try this. This is for Genesis 9, so it will work perfectly. All right. Instant close, people. Now we got to go right click. Let's at least turn him around. And we've got to give him a shape. So I have a shape for him. My save files. Let's close this environments tab. Close up Daz, the My Daz library. Go to categories. And this would be in files, I think. Figures. Shapes 9. We're going to use our Nico shape. All right, he's a man now. Yeah, it's amazing what one Viking raid can do to somebody. Now let's see. Now the this is actually pretty nice too. Look at those. Look at that. But it doesn't have to be. He looks overdressed for this weather. Unless we put ice along the sides. All right, these are some icy rocks. Okay, now let's see. Now what we need is a pose. So we'll go here back to our content library and find our poses. Figures all. Where are they? Pose 9. Okay. Standing. Those are standing, but these are just, these are all poses. Okay, let's see if we can find something. There we go. And our boat. And we'll turn him a little bit. Oh, that actually works. Let's pull him back, kind of near the rudder. Okay, save this. And then we'll find him some skin. That was kind of easy. That worked. And then we go here. To materials. We'll go to figures. We go files. Skin. Well, that didn't work. We'll just go to default. Okay, skin. Let's go to search for Dane. I don't know if I'm spelling that right. Dane. Okay, what did I just do? Dane. There it is. Dane. Let's give him the Dane beard. Oh, that's for Dane 8. We'll give him the Dane 8 beard, see how it works. My next project with Daz Studio is going to involve hair. And it's not going to be just like, well, I'm going to make some new hair for the Daz store. I am going to be changing the way hair is made. I'm going to be making a program that changes the way. Okay, we got D-A-I-N. Dane, here's, okay, what we're going to do is look for Dane in figures. Okay, there's a young Dane. Young adult, not young. Don't think it really matters. Okay, we'll go to Dane, D-A-I-N. We go in here. Okay, Dane. We go to materials. Dane 8, Dane 9. Young. Materials. See this? Young adult. Here we go. We'll give him this skin. And there it is. Save it again. Save it again. And what we need now is a Viking hat. Horns, with horns. I know they're not historically correct, but it still doesn't stop them from putting them in movies. Helmet. Let's try that. Look at this. There's some horns there. Here we go. This kind of works. Not enough horns there. Z. Ooh, look at this. Explore product. Where is that? Barbarian armor. Okay, default. Accessories. Wardrobe. Here it is, helmet. For Genesis 8, okay, which one is this? Obviously Genesis 8. So we're going to go with 8 male. Oh, for Genesis 8 and Genesis 9 and Genesis 8 female, so that won't work because it looks like it might, but Z. Okay, where are the Genesis 9 ones? Okay, we're looking for the actual helmet. Open this up. Okay, there's 2 of them. One of them is for Genesis 8, Genesis 9. Okay, let's try that. Save this. Render. They're just going on a little raid. Just like over a couple of towns. It's not a big raid like across a big ocean. I guess that kind of works. You can't really see him, but I could put a little light coming from this side, maybe. Let's try it. Add a little bit of light from here. Spotlight. Okay, look through the spotlight, then select our Genesis 9 figure, point it at him, zoom it out. This spotlight. Oh, that's covering a lot of his face. Okay, let's just try. Try it like this. Just do it like that. Camera. Save it. And now we go back to iRay. And we go to parameters. Give our camera a little bit of lumen. Let's say 9. What happened? Z, I deleted my camera. Spotlight. Not this camera, the spotlight here. 9. And let's take the spotlight and make it a little bit kind of warm. Okay. Now let's see what our scene looks like. That's a little too, it's too warm. Okay, so we go out of here, go back to our spotlight. Want it a little colder than that. Okay, it might be too bright, but we'll see. He's not going to show up that much, but yeah, see, that works. It's just a little too bright. So we bring it down, yes. So we go to 6. What is happening? It keeps deleting Z. My spotlight. Okay, 6. Backspace, 6. That's better. Save this. She hangs around the boulevard. Okay, let's see what our render looks like now. Thinking of putting like a church here. But, or a wolf, like sitting and looking out, you know, a wolf here, but I just think it's too much. I don't know what this is. It looks like something. Oh, it's some of this bracken here. Okay, that works. I think that's our scene, people. That's where we're going to leave it today. So, yeah, just a simple little scene. All right, so we're gonna, this is called, now this doesn't look like, this scene doesn't look like Starry Field to me. It looks more like Viking landing or Viking, what's that called when you bring your ship in and it's not Viking, mooring, Viking, I need help, people, Viking, dock, Viking dock, Viking. Now, I've done like Viking landing. I think I've named things Viking landing before. So Viking, Viking raid. No. Viking. Viking. I need help. Viking. Thesaurus. Landing. Float. Berth. Marina. Slip. Quayage. Jetty. Pier. Mooring. I already had that one. Kind of like harbor. Viking harbor. Okay, we'll call it Viking harbor. Save as seen. Viking harbor. Accept. Okay. But the same old thing. I love doing Daz. Look at this. This is so amazing. How many iterations are we getting here? We are already up to 500. Okay, what do we need? A little bit of fog. VDB. Ooh, look at these. Oh, those are materials. Explore product. Mysterious wisps. Okay. We go to this. Here, here. Where is our shaders? Or surfaces? Not here. There they are, way at the bottom. $20. 10. Okay, we go edit. Duplicate. You know, it took me like a year or so of working with Daz Studio before I learned how to duplicate something. It's like, I was so excited when I figured that out. It's like, oh my God. Okay, we don't want that. We want X. This goes back here, like here. And then we go Z, and we scale this right here. Bring this down a little bit like that. Okay, and we take this one in the back. Where's our surfaces? 5. Let's see if that works. That works. You know, it takes a little bit of like artistic vision, you know? Just a little bit of vision. Now, speaking of artistic vision, I do have HDRIs with northern lights. And these green and all of this, but I kind of like what this HDRI is doing here. Oh, I have northern light effects that I can add to this. Save. Northern, let's try. I don't think it's under northern, but let's see. Northern. I think that might be Aurora or something, Aura. A lot of northern things. If I made a scale or a toaster, I'd put it under northern. These trees don't look very northern though. You know, maybe some fir trees might have been with, you know, snow on them, I guess. I don't know. Let's try Aura. Aura. Oh, look at these. I think Daz will find it for me. Props, we're not going to use this right now. We go here to Daz. Aurora, Aurora Borealis. Let's try that. My brain has been spelling too many things lately. I don't want to spell anything. That's I don't want to retrieve any kind. Okay, this has to go in parentheses. And no. Let's just try Borealis. Okay, that didn't work either. So we go back to Daz and we go here. It'll come up as this. Okay, look at these, see? Props and lights. And he, oh, Southern Lights. This is one of them here. This is for Terradome. Southern Lights props. We'll try this one, Southern. Not Northern, they're Southern Lights. Get with it, people, get with it. It's Southern Lights. Okay. Files. Prop. What's his prop? Okay, this is exactly what I want. Southern Lights. I think it's invisible until you put a file on it. Default. Let's use this. She hangs around the boulevard. Okay, let's see. ZX. Okay, we got to go this way. And we're going to go Z this way. I can't see this thing. It's like elusive. Okay, we're going to go to our perspective. Okay, there it is. That's why, because it's got to rotate around like this. Parameter. There's our tree. Okay. Like that. And like this. Let's bring it down a little bit. Perspective, camera. Let's bring it down a little more. Parameters, Y, translate. Okay. Save this. Perspective. Render. Too many words. I got too many words. All right, is this going to work? Is it going to reticulate properly? Oh, yes it is. There we go. That's not quite what I was expecting for the aurora borealis. Let's say no. Cancel this render, yes. Let's try some of these other lights. Ooh. Yep, that's the trick about Stephen Viking Moonlit Jaunt. Well, that's it. The Viking Jaunt. I like that one. Yeah. Oh, look how that just changed this whole scene. See, what we've got to do is make this green now, this mist. Yes. So it fits. That's a good one. Viking Haunt. What is this? Mysterious Wisps. Oh, that's the container they're in. Okay, and we got Southern Lights. We got Mysterious Wisps. Surfaces here. Scattering multiplier. We're going to go with green and like this. And we got to match them. Green, like this. All right, let's see what this looks like in our render. Oh, that works. Yep. I think I'm going to just leave this like this. Now, I'll tell you guys a little secret here. What we're going to do is we're going to play with the camera a little bit. So we'll take our camera, and we're going to go here. We'll pull this up a little bit, give it some breathing room. And we're going to put depth of field on. No, our camera's locked. So edit, object, geometry, no, object, lock, unlock. Okay, depth of field on. Now we have to look at this from the side. Okay, here's our camera. Zoom out a little bit and move over. Okay, we have to go this way so we can see. All right, now, where's our boat? It's way over here. So we gotta, so it's definitely not focusing in the right place. Focal distance. Okay, there's our, and we're gonna look at it from the top. Control L to turn on the light. I can't see anything. Okay, we want it about up where his eyes are. See, and that's not quite there. Okay, now we go back to our, let's select our camera. Let's see what this looks like. See, this does what I wanted it to do. It was just too sharp. Everything was too sharp. And I was either like add some blur, which is in your render settings, would be in filtering. And this pixel filter radius 1.50 is what gives your scene that extremely sharp look. And so if you own this, you move it just the slightest hair, and it gives your scenes a little bit of blur. This is your blur here, okay? Pixel filter radius. And so if you just move it up or down a little bit, I think I'm not sure. I'm not gonna, because my camera's already giving me that blur, but if you want to take your scene and just take some of that sharpness down, it gives you that cinematic look, like what 24 frames per second gives you. That little bit of motion blur, that little bit of blur, so it doesn't look like, you know, like 4K video, you know? It looks like motion picture video. And so that's this, pixel filter radius. Okay, I think that's what it is. I'm not gonna mess with it. But 1.50 is like that. That's the default to that really, 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 really sharp look, okay? That is really, you know, you look at it and say, oh, that's a render, you know, because you can just tell. So, and that's where just taking a little bit of that sharpness off can make your render all of a sudden, boom, wow. You know, it just have that look. Which it is something you can do in post as well. I think it is technically post, but it has to do with your camera. See, this works well here. See, this has got to be, this one in the back, I think has got to be a little bit moved or something, because I don't like the way it's coming right up where the tree trunk is. So I will just move it a little bit like this. Okay, save that. This is going to be Viking jaunt. Yeah, it has that suspicious sound to it. It's like, this is really nice. You can see his face, you can see, I can tell just by looking at this is Dane's skin. It's amazing the fingerprint that these artists put on their products. It's very similar to Wagner's skin in a way, and it's also very similar to well, it's Michael's skin is a lot darker, but it's also similar to, oh, who's the other guy? But yeah, my brain doesn't want to work today. So this is it. This is our render. Oh, I'm going to just let this render. Thank you, people, for watching. Check out the beginning of this video. This is where I talk about my new product, okay? So it is called EZHDRI, because HDRIs are not that easy. And we open EZHDRI just like this. We go here, open it, and come on. Oh, we're rendering. There it is. And so, yeah, you just put your DAZ library here, click scan. If you have a lot of the HDRIs, it takes months for it to find them. No, I'm just kidding. It can take about an hour and a half to scan and convert all of them so that you can use them. That's what I did here. I just looked through my HDRIs and found something really cool for this. So now this looks barren because it's not showing up the foliage it's only in the render. So yeah, we'll render this a little bit larger so that when we so then we can shrink it a little and it gives it even a little bit more kind of detail. And you can see this is where our depth of field, so this part is in focus, okay? So, but this is not in focus here. This is in focus here, he's in focus. This is really nice. So, all right, this is going to do it for me. Oh, I'm talking about something you can't see. So we'll go back here just to show you again. This is our render. Saying that this is in focus here. This plane in the middle is in focus. So, yeah. All right, thank you for watching. Take care, people. I will see you again in the next Ez3DTv tutorial. Angus, thanks for stopping in. Stephen, thanks for the title. And you are all awesome. And please let me know in the comments if you are excited about this HDRI, because this thing was made for you. Okay? Well, I have to say that I made it also for myself. I really, really, really needed to have this for myself. So now, because I used to use Photoshop and convert, and I used to copy all of my HDRIs, and when I would buy more, I'd have to open Photoshop and remember how I made batch images, and they were not injectable. So I would have to go into my folder and load it manually into the scene. This is why I did this, because so now if I buy more HDRIs, I just run the scanner again. So if I go to bed at night and I'll put it on, and by the morning all my new HDRIs are in my library. See, you put in your DAZ library and click scan, and it's done, and it erases. You can purge them if you want, or it will just write over. It doesn't look and say, oh, these are already there, so I don't have to do them. This is the way I made it, was for it to overwrite what's there. There's no append. Some of my versions had append in them, where it would just look and say, oh, if these are just new, then append them on. And it got complicated. It got complicated really fast, like where each append had to be a separate file. Oh my gosh. And then they all had to talk with each other. Oh yeah. So they just, when you click scan, it just writes over. You have a purge button, which can purge everything out. You click scan, it just fills it all in with your whatever you have for HDRIs in your library. I will see every little detail of this program I thought out. I thought out and orchestrated, articulated. So, all right, take care, people. I will see you again in the next EZ3DTv tutorial. This is RexRed saying so long for now. Have a wonderful time. Whatever time it is. Yeah, just have a wonderful time. All right. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.